Hello there, good morning. You're watching Proactive London. We are heading into the world of logistics now with leading supply chain partner for UK businesses, Wincanton. So the CEO is joining us today, James Roth. A warm welcome to you, James.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure to have you on with us today because we're going to learn more about what you do as a firm. So maybe if in your words, I'll hand over to you, if you introduce the company for us, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a what we would call a third-party logistics firm. We work across transport and warehousing in the UK and Ireland. We are a contract logistics business, so we work on the basis of relatively long-term contracts with our customers. We're predominantly in four sectors with a considerable focus on retail business. So we have a retail business focus on grocery customers and the consumer products businesses that service them. We have a retail business that's focused on general merchandise with particular strength in DIY. We have an e-fulfillment retail business, which has a number of subsectors to it, which perhaps we can get into, but essentially providing that services in that all-important sector. And then we have a public and industrial business, that's the fourth sector. And that's the one that gives our group a bit more diversity away from just retail. And in there, we work with the public sector. We work in construction for house building and some major infrastructure projects as well. So a good spread across the economy, we would say, but as I say, UK and Ireland focused.
Okay, great. So four key sections there. Let's maybe talk about the fact that people during the lockdown and the pandemic were, of course, ordering a lot online. And you mentioned groceries there as well and retail. How did that impact you as a company?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, it put a huge amount of pressure on our colleagues who delivered, tremendously throughout the pandemic and the various stages that there were. We saw some pretty significant volume increases, both in, as you say, grocery, but also in things like general merchandise, the DIY trend and home shopping with things like two-person home delivery, where we deliver furniture to people's houses. All of those sectors, we saw some really, pretty sharp volume increases. And at the same time, difficulties with operating because we, like the rest of the country, had to follow different procedures and different ways of ensuring that our people stayed safe through that. So it's an interesting time. For the industry as a whole, actually, it's been culturally interesting as well, in that our people for the first time are sort of viewed as key workers, essential workers within the economy and keeping the country going. So, whilst nobody would ever say that there were benefits out of this pandemic, our industry at least is feels a lot more respected than it was before. From a financial perspective, our business works. We have sort of two broad types of contract. We have what are called open book contracts, where we work on the basis of showing our customers complete transparency of our costs, and then we apply a management fee on top. And then we have closed book contracts where we deliver pricing for our customers and the costs are on our side. A lot of our big retail business is based on the open book side of things. So from a revenue perspective, we saw some quite significant uplifts. If you look at something like general merchandise, last year was a third up on 2 years before. But from a profit perspective, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference because the management fees tend to be fixed. But in the same way as we now see, retail volumes returning more to a normal level, that also doesn't have such a negative impact on us from a profit perspective either.
So going forward, obviously a different environment now. What are you forecasting?
Well, I don't get into the game of forecasting too much around the economy, particularly when it comes to retail spending. I think what we're seeing is that, some of the retail spending has returned to more normal levels, particularly in things like two-person home delivery, where people were spending a lot of money on things, as I said earlier, like furniture. Now I think people are either worrying about their gas and electricity bills, or they're spending it on going on holiday and going out for dinner. So we're seeing those sort of things returning to more normal levels. But I think the e-commerce still remains at higher levels than it was pre-pandemic within the economy. And I think the benefits of home shopping that people have seen will continue to be a motivation for people to carry on shopping in that way. So our business is geared up for both things, really. We're geared up for bricks and mortar. We have customers with huge retail store estates, but also we have a growing interest in e-fulfillment and servicing the e-commerce market. So we feel like even in retail, we have a good spread across the economy.
Mm-hmm. I think as a society, our habits have certainly changed, probably forever now, anyway, in regards to how we do shop. As a company, how do you kind of differentiate yourself? You kind of alluded to this when you were explaining your 4 sectors, but how would you say as a company you've got a USP when you stack up against your competitors, James?
Yeah, so it's a very broad industry, logistics, and very often our sort of biggest competition, our biggest area of opportunity are insourced operations. So, customers who are doing things themselves. So, whilst there is a competitive landscape, that they're often, our best opportunities. I think we're trying to differentiate ourselves in a couple of ways. One is we are just the UK and Ireland business. Mm-hmm. So our largest competition is global and tends to be involved in other aspects of logistics. So, be that freight forwarding or international parcels, things like that. We are absolutely focused on contract logistics. We're absolutely focused on the UK market, and I think that makes us a sort of, on the one hand, a local hero, and on the other hand, we're a scale player. We run 500,000 million square foot buildings for customers, and there are not too many companies that are trusted with that kind of scale. So we can deliver scale, but we can deliver it locally, and we're absolutely committed to the UK market. We're not going to be turned off into putting our investments into Asia or North America or anything like that. We're absolutely focused within the UK, and that's a segue into, well, where are we investing then? And for us, a lot of what the world of logistics is becoming, and going to become even more so, is automation and robotics. So we have a labour challenge in this country. I think you'd have seen that across a lot of sectors. Logistics in particular is an area that's been relatively heavily hit. Cost to serve is always a challenge. So you said earlier, shopping habits are becoming ingrained, but people don't want to pay more for having it delivered to home. They want to still get good value. So how do you deliver that? You deliver that through productivity and efficiency. And you deliver that productivity and efficiency through investment into things like automation and robotics, and improving those pick processes in order to deliver for our customers and for their consumers. So, we don't have a USP in investing in that, but I think if you combine the fact that we're focusing all of our investment into the UK and Ireland, and we're very focused on automation and robotics, I think that positions us really well.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed for presenting your company to us today here on Proactive London. That's James Rose.
Thanks, Katie.